Always remember to stay alert, be aware of your surroundings, and report unusual or suspicious activity. Pay attention to the details of AT briefings you receive at your location and when preparing to travel to a new location. Most importantly, make security a part of your routine. Exercise precautions to increase your personal security and the security of your family, colleagues, and organization. Patience and persistence are the watchwords for defeating terrorists. They are patient and cunning and are waiting for you to let down your guard or settle into a pattern of predictable behavior. Don't be a tempting target. There are 8 factors you should consider to understand the terrorist threat. Are terrorist groups in the area? Are they violent? Do they attack Americans? How active are they? How sophisticated are they? Are they predictable? Will local citizens warn Americans? What tactics and weapons are used? Take note of the definition of terrorism. Terrorism is the unlawful use of violence or threat of violence to instill fear and coerce governments or societies. Terrorism is often motivated by religious, political, or other ideological beliefs and committed in the pursuit of goals that are usually political. Consider ways you might become a victim of a terrorist attack. Several factors to keep in mind include the following. Your location. Terrorists may target locations frequented by Americans or U.S. military personnel, such as certain hotels, public transportation, and nightclubs. Avoid possible target locations. Associations. Terrorists may focus on American tourists, personnel associated with the U.S. government, and individuals who appear to be high-ranking or important. Try to blend in with the local population. When possible, avoid disclosing your DoD or U.S. government affiliation. Opportunities. Terrorists look for soft targets. Maintain vigilance, practice good personal safety, and alert the proper authorities of suspicious behavior. Predictability. Terrorists will attempt to exploit routine patterns of behavior and have been known to observe their targets well in advance of planned attacks. Be alert to unusual behavior that may indicate intelligence gathering, surveillance, or collecting materials for an attack, dry runs, and rehearsals. For example, taking photos or videos or writing notes or sketching details about a possible target, showing abnormal attention to details of routine activities, using false identification, paying cash for items normally bought on credit, or purchasing large quantities of items that could be used for an attack, for example chemicals or cell phones. Terrorists plan for and conduct attacks through predictable steps or phases. Note how these phases were used in the planning and execution of the 1995 attack on the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. As you consider these, think about how a vigilant person might have recognized indications of a threat. During broad target selection, terrorists collect information on numerous targets to evaluate their potential in terms of symbolic value, casualties, infrastructure criticality, or public attention. Timothy McVeigh wanted to attack a symbol of the federal government, preferably the FBI, Drug Enforcement Administration, or Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. He identified possible targets such as individual federal employees, their families, and facilities in at least 5 states. Vulnerable targets that are able to meet attack objectives are selected for additional intelligence gathering and surveillance. This effort may occur quickly or over years depending on the target and planning information needed. Terrorists seek to gather detailed information on guard forces, physical layout, personnel routines, and standard operating procedures. McVeigh performed initial surveillance on the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, one of his potential targets. He noted the interstate highway allowed easy access and possible escape routes. He also observed indented curbs that permitted vehicles to be parked directly in front of the building. Specific targets are then identified for attack based on anticipated effects, publicity, consistency with overall objectives, and costs versus benefits of the attack. McVeigh chose the Murrah Federal Building because he believed federal agencies represented there were responsible for the incident at Waco, Texas 2 years earlier. In addition, he assessed the facility as a soft target, with good chance of success at low risk. His intent was to kill federal employees and thereby gain media attention. Terrorists may conduct additional surveillance to confirm previous information and gain additional details. During this stage, terrorists will select the method of attack, obtain weapons and equipment, recruit specialized operatives, and design escape routes. McVeigh recruited Terry Nichols and prepared for the Oklahoma City attack over a 6-month period. He acquired materials for a 5,000-pound truck bomb through theft, use of false documents, and paying cash for items normally bought on credit. He also made several trips to the Murrah Federal Building to identify the exact place to park the truck and select escape routes. Terrorists often rehearse the attack scenario to confirm planning assumptions, enhance tactics, and practice escape routes. They may also trigger an incident at the target site to test the reaction of security personnel and first responders. McVeigh practiced making and detonating bombs in isolated locations. He memorized details of the Murrah building layout, finalized the sequence of actions for the attack, and practiced responses to law enforcement officers if they were encountered. Terrorists choose to execute attacks when conditions favor success, with the lowest risk. Factors they consider include surprise, choice of time and place, use of diversionary tactics, and ways to impede response measures. On April 19, 1995, McVeigh parked a rental truck, a 5,000-pound vehicle bomb, in front of the Murrah Federal Building where it could cause the most damage. The date of the bombing was symbolic, the second anniversary of the fire at the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, Texas. Unless an operation is a suicide attack, escape routes are carefully planned and rehearsed. Terrorists may exploit successful attacks by releasing pre-developed statements to the press. After preparing the bomb for detonation, McVeigh walked away from the scene on a pre-selected route. To flee Oklahoma City, McVeigh used a getaway car pre-positioned before the attack. McVeigh wanted the world to know that he attacked the federal Murrah building because he believed the federal government infringed on individual rights of Americans. McVeigh left a file on his sister's computer titled ATF Read, echoing these sentiments. His getaway car contained anti-government literature, and he subsequently made statements concerning his motivations for the attack. U.S. military facilities use a variety of protective measures to reduce vulnerability to terrorist attack. These measures are organized in a system called Force Protection Conditions, or FPCONs. As the threat changes, commanders change the FPCON to protect personnel. FPCONs are organized in 5 levels with increasing measures of protection: Normal, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. Commanders adapt protective measures for the local situation, and they can use additional measures and move to a higher FPCON as needed. Measures may also be added randomly to rehearse them, to promote security awareness, and to confuse surveillance by potential threat elements. As the FPCON increases, you can expect to experience delays at gate checks, more detailed inspections, gate closures, and an increased guard presence. FPCON Charlie and Delta are very restrictive and rarely used. Normal operations may be reduced or suspended in these cases. Surveillance against an individual seeks to determine residential security measures, modes of travel, routes and times of travel, typical behavior, and the target's general security awareness. Surveillance against a facility or assets tries to determine general security posture, security standard operating procedures, information on security force shift rotations, physical security weaknesses, and reaction times to emergencies. You should be alert to the possibility of surveillance in all locations. In conducting surveillance, terrorists will attempt to blend in with the environment to avoid arousing suspicion. Be vigilant for anything that might be a sign of surveillance, such as the examples listed here. People loitering in or coming back to the same general area without a recognizable legitimate reason. People that appear preoccupied with a specific building or area, to include taking pictures, making notes, or drawing sketches. Certain civilian vehicles that appear repeatedly. Surveillance may be conducted over a long period of time and employ various methods. Stationary surveillance is a common method in which operatives observe from a fixed location. Operatives try to blend in by doing ordinary tasks. Operatives may seek to recruit support personnel with access to installations or residences. Moving surveillance is conducted on foot or in vehicles, generally in teams. Vehicle surveillance may include 1 or more vehicles. Generally uses 2 or more people, one driving while the others observe. Operatives may not always be behind you. Once your routines are learned, they may be in front of you. Varying your routes or routines can disrupt surveillance attempts. Additional surveillance methods include technical surveillance, which uses electronic means to record or gain access to security information, may use still and video cameras including cell phones, may gain access to security information on the internet. Casual questioning that is used to elicit security information from approachable personnel. Operatives may portray themselves as non-threatening and friendly. Terrorists may use unwitting operatives who do not understand the purpose of the information they are asked to gather. Operatives may use members of the opposite sex to gain access to facilities and collect information. Look at your residence the way a criminal might. A home that is an easy target is also more likely target. Physical security measures are a deterrent against crime. Consider these measures. Check for solid exterior doors, good quality locks, deadbolts, slide locks, and door jambs. Ensure sliding doors can't be lifted from their track, and lay a rod or dowel in the track. Keep valuables out of sight and away from exterior windows. Don't hide spare keys outside. Use an alarm system if possible, both when you're at home and away. Improve exterior lighting. Put gravel outside windows so that a prowler will make a sound. Consider replacing locks since you do not know who may have keys from previous tenants. Good habits are essential for good security. A solid door is of no value if it is left unlocked or a criminal gets access to a key. Consider these security practices. Carefully control your keys. Be extremely cautious in giving access to your home to any unknown person. Call the utility company to confirm identities before giving access to utility workers. Be alert when a stranger shows interest in you and your residence, or asks for personal information. Only hire domestic workers from a reputable licensed company, and get personal references from people that you trust. Be on good relations with your neighbors, and look out for each other. For many decades, DoD personnel have had to protect themselves against threats while traveling in vehicles. While most attacks have occurred overseas, domestic threats are real. For example, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, left disguised IEDs in parking lots he knew were used by his intended victims. In 2002, the DC sniper fired from the trunk of a car, mostly on people who were with their vehicles at the time of attack. Even though ground travel threats are not common within the United States, there are a few measures you can take to practice enhanced security and safety. Prepare adequately. Keep maps of the local area, a cell phone, and a first aid kit in your car. Ensure your vehicle is well maintained. Be vigilant. When getting out of your car, look for suspicious activities and individuals. Report suspicious behavior. If you witness suspicious behavior or possible threats, alert security personnel or local authorities immediately. Vehicle security inspections are often performed at the entrance of military facilities. You can do your own vehicle security inspection when you suspect your vehicle may have been tampered with. This is more common concern overseas, but it is something to consider when your car has been left in an unsecure area. Also keep in mind these instructions in case there is an increase in the local threat. A vehicle inspection consists of the following: a visual exterior inspection. Without touching the vehicle, look for any evidence of tampering on the undercarriage or in the wheel wells. A visual interior inspection. Without touching the vehicle, look through the windows for anything unusual on the seats or floorboards. A complete interior inspection. Look under the hood, in the trunk, in the glove compartment, behind the gas cap cover, under the seats, in the interior console, anywhere something might be hidden. Hotel guests are targeted for theft, and thieves may use hotel room invasions to gain access to valuables using these tactics. Following individuals or families from the lobby to their room, and then weigh in when the door is unlocked. Disguising themselves as hotel security or room service and asking guests to open the door. Attempts to force the hotel door open without warning. Selecting a hotel is an important decision. Certain features can enhance your protection from a safety and security perspective. A location in a non-violent and low-crime area. A common lobby through which all persons entering the facility must pass. Protection by hotel security personnel. Electronic keycard security to reduce vulnerability to crime. Closed-circuit television monitoring the lobby, elevators, and other common areas. It may be hard to find a hotel with all security features that you want. However, you can consider these features when looking for hotels. Selecting a room can be important, though you may not have control over your room assignment. However, if you do have a choice, consider the following room preferences. Select a room between the 3rd and 5th floors. Rooms on the 1st and 2nd floors are easily accessible from the outside, and rooms above the 5th floor are difficult to reach by emergency services. Select a room not immediately adjacent to fire escapes or emergency exits. Criminals may target these rooms due to the ease of escape. Select a room without a balcony. Criminals may use balconies to enter rooms and to go from one room to the next. Once in your room, inspect it from a security perspective. Consider these things: functioning locks on all doors and windows, including doors to balconies or adjoining rooms, scratches or marks on the door frame that might indicate a prior attempt to break in, locations of emergency exits and escape routes, solid doors to help withstand break-ins, working telephone. Be sure you know how to call the front desk and dial out of the hotel for 911 in case of emergency. Also, when you leave your room, give it the appearance of being occupied. Leave the radio or television on. Hang the Do Not Disturb sign on the door. Leave a light on in the area of your door. If you have concerns about your room's security features, consider asking for a different room or changing hotels. In the initial moments of hostage taking, both the victim and captors are in a highly reactive mindset and prone to spontaneous actions. On the one hand, an act to resist may be seen as a threat and met with deadly force. On the other hand, the chaos of the situation may afford an opportunity to escape. The decision to resist or comply is a personal choice you must make based on the estimate of the situation and chances of survival. However, if taken hostage, focus on diffusing the situation. Control your fear and maintain your dignity. If you become excited, so will your captors. Follow instructions of your captors and avoid sudden movements that your captors may view as hostile. The initial moments and hours of a hostage situation can be the most dangerous. Your decisions can increase your chances for survival. Your demeanor toward your captives may influence the treatment you receive. Respond to your captors with respect and maintain your dignity. Try not to display emotion or ego. Do not lie, but don't volunteer information. If a lie is necessary, keep it simple and be consistent. Be prepared for a long captivity in poor conditions. It is important to maintain your mental and physical health. Keep active and maintain a daily routine. Engage guards in conversation, but avoid controversial topics. Eat the food that is provided to you, even if it is of poor quality. Find ways to exercise and get enough sleep. In the event of a rescue attempt, be sure to immediately drop to the floor or dive behind a piece of furniture for cover. After taking cover, do not make any sudden moves. You may be mistaken for a captor. Do not attempt to assist rescue personnel. Your actions may be misinterpreted as a threat. And cooperate with rescue personnel. Hostages may be handcuffed and detained while identifications are confirmed. If you feel there is an immediate threat to your life, you may consider an escape attempt. Your chance for success is greatest when security is lighter, and you know your location and which way to go for help. Everyone should be aware of the IED threat, even in areas without a history of terror attacks. Be especially alert when the local threat increases. Terrorists target symbolic sites, military personnel and equipment, innocent civilians, and first responders. IEDs can be disguised as everyday objects. Be aware of suspicious objects and behavior. Suspicious objects include unattended items that could conceal a bomb, or items with unusual batteries, wires, cables, and strings. Also look out for suspicious behavior, such as people dressed unseasonably warm or behaving nervously, people leaving suspicious objects prior to leaving an area. Mail and packages can contain an IED or CBRN threat. Potential indicators include no return address or an unknown place of origin, restrictive markings such as personal or private, excessive tape or tape used to cover creases, misspelled words, unknown powder, oily stains, or a strange order. Foreign or excessive postage, addressed only to a person's title or uses the incorrect title, protruding wires, or a package that is lopsided or uneven. If you receive a suspicious package, stop handling it. Do not open, smell, or taste it. Warn others and isolate the area. Notify authorities and your sponsor. Wash your hands with soap and water and take a shower. Put your clothing in a sealed plastic bag and give it to authorities. By being alert, you may see something that dedicated security personnel are not able to see, or you may see a problem that is not obvious to others. Be aware of current force protection conditions and comply with security and response protocols. Understand the features of your installation security system. Recognize problems in non-malicious compromises in security and take steps to correct them. Recognize potentially malicious threats to security and report them. Know what to do in response to an incident. Installation security is a team effort, and everyone has a security responsibility.